Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay again, and this is part 5 of the series Career in IT. We already discussed, few profiles like full stack developer, front end developer, mobile application developer, back end developer, desktop application developer, and tester and quality analyst in previous videos. And in this video, we are going to discuss about two more streams or two more job profiles, that is application support and maintenance engineer and DBA, database administrator. So let's move to the first one, application support and maintenance engineer. So what is an application support and maintenance engineer? What do this profile contain? So an app support and maintenance engineer is responsible for ensuring that the software application remains reliable, performant and functional after the deployment. Right. So while developers are actually focused on building the application, app support engineers are focused on keeping them alive, healthy and evolving. Right. So let's understand what app support and maintenance person do on a day-to-day basis. Right. Now, depending on the structure of a support team within the organization, they can be divided into multiple layers support engineers. And here I have just kept two. First, let's consider L1, which is do how or know how. So basically, support engineers working as an L1, they are knowledgeable about what the software is, how to use the application, right? So they are basically SME, subject matter expert of that particular software. So they will resolve the issues of user if user does not know how to use the application, or they are having some issues while using the application. This do how or know how issues can be resolved by L1 folks, right? Second, the technical support, L2. Let's consider L2. Now in the technical support, sometime user may raise an issue that requires technical investigation. Maybe some configuration changes, maybe data is missing, maybe there is a bug in the code which needs to be fixed, right? So majorly these two will be involved in terms of application support and maintenance. First one is the do how, they are the first who will be looking into the issue. Second, based on the further investigation, if that requires technical support, L2 level engineers will be involved, who will be responsible to fix that bug, right? Now let's move ahead with the day-to-day task of an app support and maintenance engineer. So first one is to responding the incident. Now what is mean by responding to incidents? In most of the company, in most of the organization, if someone is using an application or someone is using a software that is not working as expected, or something is not happening, then the user will raise a ticket, incident ticket, right, in a tool called ServiceNow, Jira, or Remedy, or any other popular tool. So they'll raise that issue over there. So L1 team first gets into the picture. They'll understand the issue. They'll read out the details over there. And if it is a know-how issue that user doesn't know how to use an application and facing an issue, with one or the other feature, then L1 team will be able to help them that okay, you are doing so and so, but this is not how it should be. You should do so and so and so and so, right? Something like that, right? So this is an example of know how or do how issue. Now next is troubleshooting and problem solving. So if the issue raised by user requires a technical support, maybe some configuration changes, or as I said, code changes, right, then L2 team will get into the picture. They will investigate the issue, they will debug the code, they will fix the code, and they'll let user know that okay, the issue has been resolved, now you can start using the application again. Right, so that is the another thing, depending on whether you are a part of L1 team or L2 team, right? And the next one is update the base, knowledge base. So let me share my experience. I was a part of application support and maintenance team in one of my project, right? So there we used to develop KEDB. It is a Word document, and the full form of KEDB is known error database. Right. So in that Word document, we used to specify what incident was raised by which user, on which date and time, and then the steps to carry out, steps to resolve that issue. What were the steps that helped resolving the issue, right? So that in next time if someone raises the similar kind of issue, the team can refer this KEDB and follow the steps, and the issue should be resolved. So building a knowledge base, known error database, KEDBs, are integral part of the application support and maintenance profile, right? The next one is monitoring application health. Right. So many application, critical application, let's say stock, banking application, they has to be monitored continuously whether they are up and running or not, 24 by 7. Right. So that is also one of the task of a support engineer. They should keep on looking on, whether the machine or server are not going out of space, CPU usage or processor, has not reached 90 or 95 plus, right? That needs to be monitored. So that's a responsibility of a support engineer, right? Then alerting. Now alerting is, now lot of organization for their mission critical application, they use alerting mechanism. Now what is mean by alerting mechanism over here? So let's say we are working on either banking or any critical application that uses a server. Now we have set an alert saying that whenever CPU usage goes 80 to 85%, there should be an s- automatic email should be fired to the tech support team saying that, okay, this server has following applications, and it has reached CPU usage up to 80 or 85, whatever threshold amount is specified by the team or maybe by the business, right, has reached. So app support team should immediately get back into the action and see what's going on, what is that thread that is making this CPU usage so high, right? So sometime you will have to know the operating system also well, because you will have to troubleshoot this CPU usage and processor usage as well, right? And next would be may involve in train user to use the software. See, sometime some software and application are very easy. As soon as user spend the time with it, they know the application well and they start using it well. For example, WhatsApp, no one taught us how to use WhatsApp, right? We tried it ourselves, we learned it, we might have made mistake, but we learned it at our own, right? But software is a very simple application. Imagine there are applications built around banking, there are applications built around stock market, there are other applications which is the scope of which is very vast, right? And since the scope of it is very vast, their user needs to be trained on those application and software. So app support and maintenance teams sometime are also involved in training the users, right? Let me move to next. Now again, this is a pictorial representation of what we discussed. you know you can pause the video and check out these details. So I hope this has given you good idea about what a application support and engineer do, and what does this profile is all about, right? Now if you want to become an app support and maintenance engineer, then which skills are required, right? That would be the next question, right? So if you are working as a know how or do how support engineer, then there is no technical knowledge required. Basically you no need to know any programming languages, any database, nothing. What you should be knowing is you should know the software very well, the application very well, first thing. Second thing, you should also have a knowledge of the domain, business domain that the software was built for, right? Let's take a very simple example. Let's say hospital management. Let's say someone has developed a hospital management software and you are working as a know-how support engineer, right? So you should have knowledge of how the software is, which option are there in which menu item is built for which purpose. And at the same time you should know how a hospital functions work on a day-to-day life, right? Like there are doctors, there are nurses, there are general wards, there are special rooms, right? What kind of patients are treated, all those things you should be aware of it. So that's a business, you should be aware of it. And then the same business how you can carry out using the software, that link you should be, you are the one who should be doing it, that link, right? Know how and do how issues, right? The next one is tech support. Now if you are working as a L2 tech support person who will be actually fixing the bug, who will be working on database, who will be working on configuration, then you should know the programming language using which the software or application was built. Let's say the same example, hospital management was built using .NET and MS SQL as a database, then you should have knowledge of .NET and MS SQL. Right. Now, tools. Now, if you are a tech support, then respective tools you will have to know. For the current example, hospital management, which was built in .NET and SQL, then you should know Visual, how to use Visual Studio and SQL Server Management Studio. Right. But apart from this, you should have a knowledge of how to use ticketing tools like Jira, Service, BMC Remedy, and there are other also. Right. So these ticketing tool are used by users to put down their issues. If they are facing any issue using any application or software, they'll put down their details over there in one of these ticketing tool. App support team will pick up this ticket and they'll understand, analyze, they'll get on the call with the customer and then resolve it. Right. So these are the symbol you should remember. Most these three are very popular. However, you will find other tools also. Some organization have made their prepare their own tool. I have worked on these three for sure, and I have worked on organization specific ticketing tool also. Right, so this is all about app support and maintenance. I hope you have a good idea about this profile now. Let's move to next, DBA. DBA is a database administrator. Right. So let me move to next tag. Now, what does a database administrator do? Right. What does a database administrator do? Now, in an application, in an organization, when you go somewhere, right, there will be many application which will be using many databases. Right. So a database administrator is responsible for managing, maintaining, and securing organization databases, right, and database servers. Right. Think of them as a gatekeeper or caretakers of all valuable data within the organization, right, because they will be the one who will be working on deciding which application database should be accessible to which team, which server they should give RDP access to. For example, let's say team A is working on project A, team B is working on project B. Right. So project A data and database server should not be visible to project B team. Right, because ideally they don't need it. If there is a need, they can give the access depending on whatever the requirement is. Right, they can give the access. Right, but primary task involve this. So let's understand more about what day-to-day task a DBA are involved in. First one is database installation and configuration. Right, so installing RDBMS system like MS SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, or Oracle on servers. Right. Second would be security. Right. So as I said, no team working on different projects should not have access to their other projects databases and servers. Right. Then again, within the team itself, for example, we have a team of 10 people where 4 are of junior, and 6 kind of lead and senior resources. So for junior resources, we can plan to have only read only access to our databases, while for others we can plan to have a read only, write only, whatever is required, basically a higher level of access. Right. That can be done by DBS. The next is backup and recovery. Now, most of the organization, if there are application, there are databases, then they has to be backed up on a regular basis. So deciding backup strategy, how to take backup hourly, daily, where to keep those backup, right, those things lies in the purview of a DBA. Right. Then recovery means, let's say for any reason database stop responding or becomes inaccessible, then what is the earliest point database backup was taken, and with that backup the database has to be restored. Right. So that is what a recovery is. Capacity planning is, let's say we are working on an application which is using a database. Over a time of period, it has grown, database has grown to 1 GB to 5 GB, 5 GB to 10 GB, 10 GB to 20 GB. Right. So DBS can actually look into these things, this data, and they can predict that in next few years, few months, how much more data will be pushed into the application, and based on that they can make decision on what amount of memory or RAM should be added to our database servers. Right. Then plan and execute database software upgrades. Like, if a database engine is installed on a on a server, then that server has to be regularly patched with OS updates and database updates, right? So OS updates probably will not lie on DBA side, but database side upgrades will definitely lie at the DBA side, right? The next is database management. Now sometimes database DBAs are also involved in transferring data from one database to another, or maybe one system to another system, or sometime even from database to flat file or excels, or even the vice versa, from excel and flat file to database, right? Next one is the database warehouse. Now, DBAs will be definitely involved in designing database warehousing, because database warehouse is a very critical part of any organization, because it holds your historic data, and based on that, certain analysis and future, data predictions are made. So, data warehousing is again something that lies within the purview of a DBA team. Okay. So again, this is a pictorial presentation. Again, the same thing. You can pause the video and have a look at it once. Now, as far as if you plan to become a DBA, right, then what languages you should learn, right? So if you are planning to become a DBA, then you need to know at least SQL. So if you talk about MS SQL, MySQL, you should know T-SQL. If you talk about Oracle, you should know PLSQL. Right now, SQL, T-SQL, PLSQL, these all are 90% of same in our DBMS. Right now, the tools. Now, depending on which all databases lies within your purview, you will be working with SSMS, SQL Management Studio, maybe sometime Tor, sometime Oracle, sometime Aquadata. Right, that depends what all tools you are using. So I have worked with SSMS, MySQL, Oracle developer, Todd and Aqua. This tool, every tool I have used in my career, in 17 years of my career. Right. So let me move to next. So hope this will give you a good idea about DBA also. Right. So we covered application support maintenance engineer and DBA profile. In the next video, we will go over UX/UI developer, business intelligence developer, ETL and report developer, and hardware and network engineer. Till then, see you, and thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned till we meet in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.